Usually I don't care for minor news stories about games I'm curious about that don't have much media released surrounding them. In this case, it's about Mass Effect 4. This is the second survey they've asked. This one asked the fans to help us make the next Mass Effect game the best one yet. I'd appreciate it if you folks did this short survey. This was from Mike Gamble's Twitter on July 14th, 2014. Mike Gamble is Mass Effect 4's producer. The first Mass Effect 4 survey was done back in April 19th, 2013 on BioWare's blog, which was specifically about the multiplayer aspect of Mass Effect 3. And considering how Mass Effect 3 handled multiplayer, it should be next to completely irrelevant in any future installments about a franchise whose primary focus should be storytelling, the characters in the stories and their plots. Being an established franchise, this also means it should have continuous lore as found in series like Suikoden. Fans want more of what they've always wanted. Unless Mass Effect becomes a largely multiplayer game, they need to go back to storytelling basics. As fun as multiplayer gameplay may be, a consistent narrative expands on lore and exposition of things that are alien, like the worlds and characters, don't really provide the greatest form of storytelling when live players acting as space marines shoot stuff. It just doesn't really connect very well. The multiplayer aspect of games and the single-player stories in them just don't jive. A playable version of Mass Effect 4 was shown to the Montreal studios, as tweeted back in December 18th, 2013, by Aaron Flynn, who is BioWare's general manager. 7 months later, we get this survey. And the whole problem with this post, in case you haven't figured it out yet, is the game has been in production. If they're going to start changing the story, well, they've either wasted all their time or the story and the aspect of storytelling are a secondary consideration. But let's actually look at what these questions are and how they could make the next Mass Effect game the best one yet. So here's like the disclaimer. Thank you in advance for answering the questions in our survey. We will be asking you questions that will help the designers as they look forward toward putting together the next Mass Effect game. We will be asking you about the types of games that you play, what you look forward to in the Mass Effect games, and your involvement in fan community activities. First off, the game has been in production. It was in a playable state 7 months ago. What have these designers been doing? Secondly, who cares what games we've been playing? I mean, really, who cares? We're Mass Effect fans. Guess what games we're playing. It doesn't matter whether we also play Diablo or League of Legends or Skyrim. Well, unless you're making the next Dragon Age, you're not. Make a Mass Effect game. So anyway, the first question asks what games you've played, and the second question asks what you've played in the past 2 weeks that aren't on the first list. I don't know how this is going to help anyone make a better Mass Effect game unless you get some ridiculously skewed answer for World of Warcraft and somehow they retool everything in Mass Effect 4 to be an MMO. I don't see what the point of this question is or how it's relevant. The third question is about my skill level playing Mass Effect. How is this relevant? I could suck. Everyone doing this survey could totally suck at playing story mode. Is that going to make a better Mass Effect game? There's already difficulty levels. Like, how is that going to change? Why? Question 4 is at least relevant. What aspects of a new Mass Effect game are you most looking forward to? Story, exploration, combat, and customization. Which is good, but this can't have any impact since the story should have already been established by now, and BioWare is on the record for saying they are focusing on storytelling in their games. That's like going to a chocolate-dipped ice cream cone parlor and the owner asking you, do you come here for the chocolate-dipped ice cream or the cones? How is this question going to help the designers make a better product? Just make the game you want to make and don't screw up the universe you've already established. Just don't retcon anything. Question 5 is just asking for detail on question 4, although it kind of defeats the purpose of having a survey when you can just say whatever you like. And having analytic data that doesn't have numbers is going to change your criteria, which is kind of bad. But it makes the question way too open and out of scope, and then ultimately pretty difficult to factor when everyone's just writing whatever they want down. Question 6 is how often you play RPGs within a week. This is sounding more like a survey for executives to figure out their marketplace, as opposed to making a better Mass Effect game. Like the marketing guys are trying to get analytic data instead of a designer group trying to, guide the designer's creativity to make a better game, which is what this survey was supposed to be about. Question 7 is finally the first and only relevant question, talking about what aspect in RPGs do you like the most. Now with this I can see how a designer or a team of designers could focus on expanding a certain RPG element that they've already worked on. That seems totally cool. Although I'm a little concerned with the comparing myself against friends option. I don't think I want a share button in my game. It's not relevant. Focus on the game you want to make, not who has the biggest non-shepherd lips. And now we're back to more irrelevant questions. Number 8, will you be attending any of the following events? No. I have a life and I don't live anywhere near there. Can you please ask a relevant question? I really want to help you guys out, but I don't want to attend a conference because... Are you looking for people to attend your conference? I mean, do you want people to have advance tickets to your seminar? Are you going to ask us Mass Effect 4 questions there? Question 9. To what extent do you participate in cosplay? Sorry, I don't have time for cosplay. I'm too busy watching animated sex of Liara with the phallus. I'm totally booked up. Sorry. Question 10. Do you currently work for the press or within the gaming industry? Well, isn't that ironic? Yes, I am. I am currently in the news media. I am doing a piece I like to call retarded surveys by big companies whose questions hopefully make them feel justified in writing checks to their marketing team. Number 11 is more of the same nonsense. It's as if they're going to feel lonely at their conventions and they hope to see you at them, probably wearing your Samara outfit. And then we find out what this survey is all about. In question 12, it says, this survey is being managed by the BioWare community and BioWare analytics teams on behalf of the Mass Effect game team. If you have questions or concerns about the survey, please use the space below to let us know. And this is when we know they're not making a better game with this survey. They want analytic data so someone in BioWare's marketing department can feel relevant. In case the questions themselves should point out how pointless this whole exercise was, our feedback isn't changing anything. You don't have to ask survey questions when you've already gone into development over a year later. You do this whole process way before you start anything. This was one giant piece of nonsense, so their marketing or PR department or whatever third party they have doing sales assistance can feel validated. That's about it. Dear BioWare, stop asking fans to be some participant in some sort of survey or something, which is completely nonsense. No one cares who cosplays or who attends your conventions. I mean, more power to those people who cosplay and go to those things, but keep them out of your product. Make the game you want to make. You're pros. Be serious about it. You've established lore and a popular franchise people are waiting on. Don't ask the fans for advice. You're the fans. Don't screw it up. Don't retcon things. Hopefully this is just the ramblings of some marketing dude in the analytics team and has absolutely no impact on the design. The best piece of advice any fan of the series can tell you is this: fire these two gentlemen, and I guarantee you're automatically going to make something better.